हेलो। हाय रोहित भैया।
Hi Sumit, how is it going?
कैसे हैं आप?
बढ़िया
मैं बढ़िया मैं बढ़िया।
nice. So
सो
कैसा था?
ग्लैड टू कनेक्ट।
Yeah.
हाँ सॉरी।
Last week कैसा था? Returns, US stocks.
आई थिंक द स्टार्ट ऑफ द वीक वाज गुड, फिर आई थिंक एंड ऑफ द वीक में काफी गिर गया है बिकॉज ऑफ सम रीजंस जो हम डिस्कस करेंगे इस पॉडकास्ट में,
Yeah.
और प्रोबेबल रीजंस आई गेस.
Yeah.
But yeah, excited for this week. I think we have a very interesting podcast for today. Some amazing stuff जो हम आज डिस्कस करने वाले हैं. तो एक बार आप बताना चाहेंगे भैया क्या क्या है आज के लिए?
So we'll basically start with how do we invest in US stocks from India. उसके बाद कुछ stock picks discuss करेंगे like last time. And then how do we use AI tools to basically research on stocks, fundamental analysis and stuff. And then a bit of news from, some interesting people, some interesting companies, whatever happened in the last 1 week. So some of the hottest news. So,
Right, awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's a very interesting docket. So you said you wanted to start with how can Indians invest in US stocks?
Yeah.
Right?
So
Although हमने लास्ट पॉडकास्ट में इसमें थोड़ी इसके ऊपर थोड़ी सी बात की थी, आई थिंक मे बी थोड़ा और डिटेल में ये जान लेते, बिकॉज आई थिंक एटलीस्ट इन माय फ्रेंड सर्कल ये अभी भी बहुत बड़ा सवाल है लोगों के लिए कि यार व्हाट्स द राइट प्लेटफॉर्म. क्या 2-3 प्लेटफॉर्म्स के बीच में चुनने के पहले कुछ सोचना चाहिए, कुछ नहीं सोचना चाहिए, व्हाट आर द थिंग्स टू टेक केयर ऑफ?
Yeah.
सो यस भैया, लेट्स गो.
Cool. तो मैं एक काम करता हूँ, I'll just share my screen. Yeah. So US stocks में इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए हमारे पास multiple options हैं. One of the easiest option is just go find a good mutual fund that invests in US stocks. And उसके बाद आप उसमें इन्वेस्ट कर दो अपने नॉर्मल म्यूचुअल फंड्स की तरह. तो ये एक म्यूचुअल फंड है जो मुझे पर्सनली काफ़ी अच्छा लगा क्योंकि इसमें यूएस टेक स्टॉक्स हैं एंड इसका 3-year रिटर्न्स भी काफ़ी अच्छा है, 25.76%. So I think this is one of the better mutual funds out there in my opinion. But again, make sure you check out other such mutual funds as well. तो इसमें the benefits of this way is that इसमें you don't have to worry about worrying about how do I calculate how much tax I have to give on US stocks के profits or loss. How do I calculate all that? So you can save yourself from that additional headache easily. But obviously the downside is that you won't be able to invest specifically in some certain stocks which you might want to do otherwise. उसके बाद there are websites like Vested and there are other websites like IND Money where you can invest by registering in these websites. The benefit that these websites give you over their international counterparts like Webull or Interactive Brokers. The benefit these websites give you is that you do not have to do costly and slow swift transactions. Like before these companies came like Vested and IND Money, what we had to do is we had to basically use an international broker and उसके अंदर जब स्विफ्ट फीस लग के हम ट्रांसफर करते थे USD में तो उसमें like thousands of rupees का फीस लग जाता था and it used to take like at least 3-4 days for our money to reach our account.
बहुत tiresome process. I think these
Very-
new apps have made things
Very easy.
relatively way simpler.
Yeah.
Especially जैसा आपने बोला Vested and Ind Money. So I think अब चीजें बहुत simplify हो गई हैं if somebody
True.
wants to invest in US stocks.
Yeah, and even the exchange rates are pretty good. Both of these websites, what they give, Vested and IND Money. Plus the money reaches in just 1 day. So काफी सही हो गया अभी. And then there is a new technology of sorts. बहुत recently start हुआ है. So this is something called X stocks. So basically you can use blockchain, like stocks on blockchain. So these are kind of like placeholders for stocks, but they are backed by real stocks. I think Sumeet had mentioned in the last podcast, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
So
and I think for most people, I think अगर आपको start करना है US investing, I think index fund में invest करना is not a bad idea, to be honest.
yeah.
हमारे last podcast में भी some people have pointed out that should we not invest in US stocks? So our podcast is not a either or, right? We are not saying कि आप ये मत करो या फिर ये करो. It is honestly, just me and Rohit, they are discussing about what we feel are some good, opportunities. But while I say that, I still feel that if you have to get started, maybe directly jumping into stocks might not be the best use of your time. And especially if you don't have time, I think investing in index, which, on your behalf invest in, let's say, like 20, 30, 50 top US stocks, I think is still a good place to start with. And then gradually, as in when you feel comfortable, aap dheere dheere, you can listen to our podcast and invest in individual stocks that you like. Awesome. Yes. Thanks for mentioning that, Rohit. I think this will help a lot of people. So yeah, should we jump into the stock feed?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. So I'll get started. मैं इस बार मैंने कुछ अलग तरीके की कंपनीज चुनी है, right? So basically last podcast में, we discussed about all of the technology stocks, like Netflix and Google, and why we should invest in that, and stuff. But today, basically I wanted to discuss stocks जो उनका मोट, right, इतना deep है, right? So there are two stocks that I want to discuss. One is Fico and one is S&P Global. इन दोनों का मोट इतना डीप है कि वो यूएस के क्रेडिट सिस्टम में इतनी डीपली इंट्रेंच्ड हैं that it is very difficult to, for a new player to come and, suddenly, let's say, overtake their market share and stuff like that, right? Which is generally not the case in technology, right? Technology, maybe आप argue कर सकते हो, there's company which have high switching costs and stuff. Like, if let's say, somebody has been using Salesforce, for example, right? One of the technology stocks, right? उसको अगर किसी ने बहुत ज्यादा यूज कर लिया है कंपनी में, तो इतना आसान नहीं है उसको छोड़ के, to start using some other tools, right? You can say that, but still there's pricing, there's a lot of other things. There's always a new entrant that can come in the market, offer new technology and overtake. Like, for example, right now people are thinking कि Google को भी overtake कर सकते हैं, these LLM models like ChatGPT search में, right? But that's not, such a case in these two stocks, right? So I'll just start with Fico, right? And let me just look at one of main pointers that I want to talk about.
By the way, later in the podcast, I'll reveal one technology related stock which kind of has this kind of a moat, which is again not that common for technology companies. Palantir.
Excited to know and talk about it. Sure. Okay, yeah. So let's just understand first कि FICO का business model क्या है, right? The ticker symbol is FICO, right? So the majority part of the business for FICO is their credit scoring. So basically, and a lot of people in India already understand how CIBIL works, right? So it's a similar in some ways, not similar in other ways company. So what happens, let me give you an example. जब आप यूएस में एक लोन लेने जाते हैं, let's say you have gone for a home loan, right? आप बैंक के पास जाएंगे, बैंक क्या करेगी? बैंक 3 क्रेडिट ब्यूरोज हैं यूएस में, right? There's Equifax, there's TransUnion, and there's one more, I'm forgetting their name. But there are 3 bureaus. What they do is, जब आप लोन के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं, based on their data. So basically these are data holders, right? They maintain data for all different types of customers, credit cards usage, debit card usage and all that, right? Buy now, pay later and all that. And based on their data, they run the FICO algorithm. So FICO is basically giving the algorithm. They run the algorithm on the database. So let's say Equifax is one company, जो let's say if I go and apply for a bank loan, right? तो वो सुमीत का उनके पास data होगा, and then they'll say कि यार I want to run the FICO model on Sumeet's data, right? And then एक FICO score generate होगा सुमीत का that Equifax will have. There will be a different FICO score that let's say TransUnion will have, right? And similarly for the third player. Now what the bank will then do, they will combine all these 3 FICO scores and create some sort of a final score. राइट और उस बेसिस पे डिसाइड होगा कि आपको लोन मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा, या अगर मिलेगा तो कितना रिस्की है वो लोन, उस बेसिस पे आपके परसेंटेजेस डिसाइड होंगे, राइट, इंटरेस्ट रेट्स डिसाइड होंगे. नाउ हियर FICO has almost more than 70% of market share. Right?
That's crazy.
Right? So for the longest time, they were actually the only option.
Okay.
Right? And अब आप समझो इस तरीके से कि यूएस में obviously, right, how big is the credit industry? Right? Every time you have to take a loan, you have to run FICO, and every time there is a FICO algorithm run, जो Equifax या these credit bureaus have to do, they have to pay FICO.
Okay.
Right? तो even though loan मिला या नहीं मिला, every time I run a score check, I have to pay FICO, right?
The customer or the bank?
No, the credit, in this case, the credit bureau pays FICO.
Okay.
Now, so I think what's very clear right now is that the business has a clear moat, right? And यहाँ पे एक ऐसा business drive कर रहा है FICO जिसमें it's so deeply entrenched in the credit system that इतना आसान नहीं है किसी को आके ऐसे रिप्लेस कर देना, एंड ऐसा नहीं है कि रातों रात देयर विल बी अ न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी दैट विल इरोड द मार्केट शेयर एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट, राइट? दैट सेड एंड डन, आई जस्ट वांटेड टू डिस्कस वन थिंग. लेट मी जस्ट शेयर माय स्क्रीन. तो FICO ऑल्दो अपने ऑल टाइम हाई से वेट एम आई या सॉरी all time high say, if you see, almost 45% down, right? And that's a very big drop. So what are the reasons for this drop, right? And generally I think काफी लोग डर जाएंगे by thinking कि यार already it's 45%, what's stopping it from falling another 45%, right? And we losing all of our money. But let me just tell you some of the reasons why this has been falling. So one of the major things that has happened is a lot of credit bureaus have complained to the US authorities about the monopoly that FICO has, right? And that's a thing that we see happening in US again and again, right? They are Google. Right now, they are doing it with Google. They have done it with Apple ka Play Store leke, App Store leke and stuff like that, right? They are very much against monopolies. And that's the same thing that, the DOJ there is investigating around FICO. So the first problem that the investor sees is the investigation itself. But if you go deep into the investigation, what you'll find out is, what the proposal was that instead of making it mandatory to checking for a bank to check through 3 parties, right? The 3 credit bureaus, they will only make it mandatory to check it by 2 credit bureaus. Right? So earlier what used to happen, जब आप लोन अप्लाई करते थे, बैंक चेक करती थी, तो बैकएंड में क्या होता था, 3 अलग अलग क्रेडिट ब्यूरोज FICO के साथ चेक करते थे, राइट? एंड इन टर्न, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम अ रेवेन्यू स्टैंड पॉइंट, बेसिकली 3 लोग FICO को पे करते थे. सॉरी, इन द न्यू मॉडल दे आर सेइंग दैट only 2 of the guys, only 2 verifications should be required, और सिर्फ वो 2 लोग FICO को पे करेंगे. अब आप FICO के पर्सपेक्टिव से अगर आप सोचोगे, इन देयर स्कोरिंग or rating business, which is majority of their business, they will directly lose 33% of their business, right? क्योंकि पहले अगर 3 लोगों ने पैसा दे रहे थे और अब सिर्फ 2 लोगों को ही देना है, you directly lose 1/3 of the business, and that means that you can clearly value the company at 1/3 now. तो ये बहुत ज्यादा इसके कारण गिरा. But what has happened now recently, I think that this decision did not go through.
Okay.
Finally, they decided against it. So they decided to stick with the tri-merge system. Okay. So when they use 3 credit bureaus to check, they call it a tri-merge system. Okay. So they decided to stick with it, right? So from that perspective, there's no problem with FICO, right? There is a potential problem in the future where they are saying that they might again move back to a bi-merge system, और 3 लोगों का ये नहीं होगा and all that, but that's still speculation at this point in time. That's one. The second was that when FICO was trading, जो मैंने दिखाया 50% ये, even after the 50% drop, it's at a 52 price to earnings ratio. Okay. Right? It was trading at 100 P. So the
Crazy.
stock was already very expensive. It is still expensive in some ways, but you can say that it is half as expensive as it was a few months ago, right?
Okay.
Some other things for FICO that I'd like to point out is that they have been growing their other businesses as well. So they have also, I think they have an analytics business as well. There are some analytics products that they are selling to other businesses. So that has been growing, and they're trying to offset this risk that they have with this, rating business. So that's one good thing that I see. The biggest thing that I see that is an advantage in why I'm not still invested in FICO, just as a disclosure. But मैं क्यों bullish हूँ and why I'm added this stock in my watch list is currently we all know that there is a higher interest rate in US. I think it's about 5% right now, right? And people are, right, 4.5-5%. And people are speculating that with Trump in power right now, they want to, at least the government is willing to reduce the interest rates.
Yeah, to 1% apparently.
Sorry?
So Trump recently said he wants to bring it down to 1%.
1%, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a crazy number. I personally don't think it will go to 1%, but that just tells you the intent, right? Like they definitely want to get it lower. What I feel is कि fundamentally अगर हम ऐसे सोचें, जब कम interest rate होगा, more people will take loans.
True.
And how does FICO make their money? FICO makes their money at the loan origination part.
True.
जब loan originate हो रहा है, every bank will want to check the FICO score, and every FICO score that is checked, FICO gets money, right? So the company's revenues are very much correlated with the number of loans that are generated in the country, and that should go higher if the interest rates are lower. That's the bigger play here, is what I'm betting on. So
sounds very fair, to be honest, because the way Trump is operating, once Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, is gone, whenever he is changed, so it'll be like Trump's puppet would come in and he might actually.
Yeah, I think Jerome Powell, I'm assuming the tenure is ending soon, right?
Yeah, less than 1 year, I think.
Less than 1 year. So I think already Jerome Powell पे काफी pressure है to cut rates, and जैसे ही rates गिरेंगे, I feel that my only problem with the stock right now is that I think they have unfairly used their pricing power also, because I've read some reports जिसमें उन्होंने they have increased their prices more than 3x over a very short period of time.
That's crazy.
Because they know that it is very difficult for government agencies, banks to suddenly, change all of their systems.
Makes sense.
And that's what the government hates about them.
Okay.
So I think if they keep pushing this barrier, I think people are going to look at their business, even more closely. That's one big problem that I have. Okay. The second big problem that I have is that the stock is on a downward momentum.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost like catching a falling knife. So for example, it's already fallen 45%. What I also want to show in the graph is that I'm generally not a technical trader. I'm a long-term investor. Okay. But there's very few things technically that I look at, and I just wanted to point this out. What I wanted to show here is that the stock is very close to the 200 simple moving average, right? I'm looking at a weekly timeline, right? So if you see in the past, the stock has very nicely held the 200 weekly moving average, right? It has almost tested it 4 times in the past and has bounced from there, right? It is still some far away. I think it's about the 200 weekly moving average right now is at 1073. It will only go up from here. So let's assume कि बीच में कहीं मिलेगा अगर, let's say, at around $1,100 or $1,150. I am personally waiting to buy somewhere around that part, because I feel ऐसा कुछ नहीं कि उसके नीचे नहीं जा सकता, to be honest. But I will personally feel safer if I buy around that price. But
actually, looks like it's at a good support level. So breaking this too much might not be possible. So it might get a reversal very soon.
Could be. So maybe generally what I have seen with these companies is that if there is, let's say, a news right, that's in favor of them, या ऐसा कुछ change आता है macro environment में,
Yeah.
and once that mini reversal happens,
Yeah.
then that upward momentum can be built. तो मैं बस wait कर रहा हूँ for to get a confirmation कि downward momentum अब end हो चुका है,
Yeah.
right? Or otherwise I'll most likely buy it around 200 weekly moving average is what I'm looking at. So yeah, that's the thesis around Fico. And I came across this stock, I think, about 3-4 months पहले.
Okay.
I think जब काफी ज्यादा न्यूज में था ये and stuff like that, and I started studying all this, like यार इतना मतलब इनका मोड तो बहुत ही ज्यादा क्लियर है, right? Like it's very difficult for a company to come and just take him out of the play.
Just about to ask that, like, how did you actually come across such a company when you do not stay in the US? So
yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, I was just looking to CNBC news,
Okay.
and the moment I hear about any stock, पहले I definitely, my habit, muscle memory मेरा है कि मैं एक बार जाके वेबुल पे उसका बस basics एक बार check कर लेता हूँ.
Okay.
And then I checked, and then some chat GPT, and then figure out कि यार they are in a market where they have more than 70% market share. The market share may be even more, I might be underplaying it. बट 70% से ज्यादा मार्केट शेयर है, एंड स्पेशली जो गवर्नमेंट वाली चीजें होती है, बैंक्स वाली चीजें होती है, राइट, देयर द टेक्नोलॉजी एडवांसमेंट इतनी जल्दी नहीं होता है, राइट, इट टेक्स इयर्स टू मूव सिस्टम्स एंड मूव ये. सो वहां पे अगर किसी ने मोट बनाया हुआ है तो इट इज वेरी क्रेजी. सो या दैट्स अबाउट FICO stock. I want to also very quickly talk about the next stock, which is very similar, S&P Global, right? So fundamentally, let me just first show you what S&P Global's business is, right? And then मैं बस quickly उन चीजों के बारे में बताऊं.
उससे पहले I'll like to tell people about its full form, which they might not never have expected it to be that. So it's called Standards and Poor's.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting story. You guys can read how the name came to be. But please continue.
Yes. Awesome. Actually, मैं भी जब पहली बार मैंने नाम सुना था, I was like, what? Yeah.
So weird.
I'll just quickly share my screen. So this is majorly what S&P Global's business is. इसमें जो 4 important चीजें, कुछ और sources of revenue है, but that's insignificant at this point in time, इसलिए मैं ये 4 discuss कर रहा हूँ. But fundamentally ratings, right? Ratings and indices. Ratings is basically, let's say tomorrow, if a company wants to launch their debt-based bond, for example, right? They will have to get it rated from anybody, right? जैसे for example, बहुत सारी movies में हमने देखा है, for example, what is that movie? Big Shot, right? Big Shot में बहुत सारे banks वगैरह को जाना पड़ता है अपना the bond that they sell in the market, उसको rate कराने के लिए they have to go to Moody's. So S&P Global का ये वाला business is very similar. So let's say if a new company has to launch their bond, they have to first get it rated, because उस rating के basis पे ही लोग invest करेंगे, right? लोगों को भरोसा आएगा. So there is an independent agency that is to rate. S&P Global does a lot of that, right? And it's a reputed company in that field, right? So as you can see, that's a majority part of their revenue, and that has been growing. Matlab, it's not great, but it's not slowing down anytime soon.
And
right?
I see 2 new ones being added post-COVID. Blue and purple bars.
Yes, exactly. And that's another good thing about this company that I'll talk about. The second important thing that I wanted to talk about is indices, right? So US में जब भी जो हम शुरू में भी इस पॉडकास्ट में बात कर रहे थे, right? That invest in index stocks, index funds and all of that. So in US, the most tracked, and I think AUM wise bhi, I mean, the most amount of money invested also is highest in S&P 500, right? Now, who maintains this S&P 500? It's S&P Global. Now, every time, for example, every time we go and check our data on Yahoo Finance, उनके बैकएंड से, so Yahoo Finance pulls data from S&P Global's market intelligence tool. There are so many other such financial tools जो इनके market intelligence tools का subscription लिए हुए हैं, right? Like for example, Bloomberg Terminal, if you guys might have heard of, जो बहुत सारी agencies use करती हैं, right? So that's one thing. That's a growing subscription business. The second thing in indices is that every time an ETF, like for example, these Indian ETFs, and there are other ETFs which track and, you know, add some things on top of S&P 500, उनको एक परसेंटेज देना होता है S&P Global को. अगर आप S&P 500 को अपने ETF में ट्रैक कर रहे हो, तो आपको अपने AUM का एक certain small percentage S&P Global को देना होता है.
What about this?
Now, when everybody in the world is telling everybody else that invest in S&P 500, invest in S&P 500, जब S&P 500 by default AUM बड़ा होता जाएगा, उनको वो छोटा अमाउंट जो उनको मिलता है, आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट द परसेंटेज दैट दे गेट, बट लेट्स अज्यूम इट टू बी X, वो हर बार S&P Global को पे आउट होता है.
Are you talking about like the management fees जो होती है उसकी बात कर रहे हो या like
No, not the
tracking?
management fees.
अच्छा, okay.
This is just a simple percentage of the AUM that those ETFs have to pay S&P Global.
Okay.
Because they are tracking S&P and S&P 500, because by default is being maintained and tracked by S&P Global. That's why the fees.
All right.
Right? And then commodity and mobility are basically relatively smaller businesses, but commodity is again very similar. जैसे S&P 500 को के डेटा को ट्रैक और मेंटेन करता है S&P Global, वैसे ही एक इनका commodity aspect भी है, where they track oil, they track other commodities and other financial agencies. They buy this data and build on this data from S&P Global. And similarly is the mobility piece as well. They track a different data the pieces in transportation sector in terms of number of cars manufactured, number of parts manufactured, etc., right? That might help you, you know, gauge where the sector is moving or where to make the next investment and stuff. So coming back to the other thing, Rohit bhaiya, jo aap bol rahe the, if you see, fundamentally the company has been able to grow two new revenue systems, right? Very in a very short term, right?
Significant.
And this, right? And this company is very, that shows that this company is very capable to, you know, to offset any risks that it might have in one business. That's usually what I like to see, right? Very much like Google, that कल को आपका search अगर disrupt भी हो गया, you know, आपके पास और चीजें हैं to, you know, your value cannot directly go to zero. There are other sources of revenue as well. But I like this even more than Fico, by the way, because this is not under any regulatory purview, at least right now. And it has a very clear moat built in. So these are some of the things that I wanted to discuss about S&P Global. Let me just check if there's anything else that I might be missing. Now, apart from the clear moat, the company is also doing really well on, let me just share my screen. So coming to income statement and look at the profits. So the company has recently accelerated their profits, right? Especially because they've also, you know, started investing in their other businesses too much. I think इनके profits अब काफी तेजी से बढ़ रहे हैं. That's point one. The other point that I think बहुत important है किसी भी स्टॉक की ग्रोथ के लिए is the EPS growth, which is the earning per share. So what happens every time, every quarter for people who don't know, हर 3 महीने बाद हर कंपनी को अपना एक अर्निंग्स रिपोर्ट रिलीज करना होता है, राइट? व्हाट आर द अमाउंट ऑफ मनी दैट दे मेड इन द लास्ट क्वार्टर, क्या रेवेन्यू था, क्या प्रॉफिट्स थे, क्या लॉसेस थे, क्या लायबिलिटीज थे, एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, राइट? सो देयर इज अ इंपॉर्टेंट मेट्रिक अर्निंग पर शेयर, राइट? आपके टोटल शेयर्स कितने हैं मार्केट में और उसके मुकाबले आपकी अर्निंग कितनी है, राइट? दिस इफ यू सी हैज बीन कंसिस्टेंटली ग्रोइंग. right? So that's another important thing. So the company does not only have a growing revenue, a clear moat, but it's a company that's increasing its profits, right? So they are also able to do it very wisely and very effectively. So almost every check mark that we might have for a good company. So that's about S&P Global. Yeah, awesome. So I think I'll cover my third stock maybe later, Bhaiya. We'll see if time permits.
Sure, yeah.
So yes, looking forward to what you have for us.
Yeah, nice. So there's one stock which we discussed earlier called Palantir. So we know how much it ran up, right, in the last couple of years. So I first bought it when it was under $6.50. So I bought it at my first purchase was at $6.49. I sold it soon after, but yeah, like that's when I got to know about this company. So they're basically a data analytics company who builds software platforms for large institutions. So they have like two main platforms. One is called Gotham. It is for government clients like intelligence agencies and the military. And then there is something called Foundry, which is for their commercial clients. So along with Foundry, which is the actual data operations platform, they also have a product called Apollo, which is used for autonomous software deployment. So you can like imagine like the combination of this, they call it the artificial intelligence platform. So it's like an AI operating system of sorts. So imagine Cursor on steroids. So you can you can build, you can use the company's private data, which, you know, they might not want to share with, let's say, some data analytics company. You can use that securely and privately, and then you can create complex AI driven products using that, using LLMs and using the AIP as a platform. So this company is extremely interesting. Even the stock price action, right? So they have been working on AI for so many years before it even became a buzzword. So
yes,
like probably one of the first companies to do that, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was started by some of the best minds in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
I think Peter Thiel had started with Alex Karp.
Yeah, ex-CEO of PayPal, that is Peter Thiel, and even Alex Karp is like a crazy guy. You should hear some of his interviews to get an insight into like how exactly he is. Yeah, he talks without filters.
Yeah.
There's no diplomacy.
Yeah, if people think Elon Musk talks without filter, you should listen to Alex Karp.
Seriously.
I think उसके recent earnings call में he said something about the haters, no? कुछ तो एक बहुत funny statement उसने मारा था कि you know to all the haters ऐसा कुछ उसने बोला था.
हाँ, like he keeps doing that. So I think one earnings call in the last year he dedicated the price movement to all the retail investors who kept on holding the stock. So because this stock was being shorted a lot by some hedge funds, so they basically destroyed all those shorts.
I think. Do you think this is the another dumb money story where, like for example, for people who have watched the dumb money movie, उसमें जैसे GameStop के साथ हुआ था, and GameStop, I mean, it was not a very profitable company and all that, and that was a different kind of a retail movement. But Palantir also from I think day one, it has been primarily held by retailers a lot.
Yeah, not anymore though.
They have a substantial position at least. Right?
Yeah, they do have. So I wouldn't say GME sort of. So there have been like a lot of large YouTubers now who have built on the success of calling out Palantir in their early days. So I'm sure like a huge a huge user base of them, the viewer base would have been very early investors in Palantir. And to give you an idea of how good they are at what they do, they conduct these boot camps for companies where they give a demo of their product to like the top executives who are the decision makers for those companies. So generally, when a data analytics company to gather the data and then to analyze it and then to reach on actionable analysis, they would ideally or usually take a month, at least a month or more.
Right.
What happens in these boot camps, they do the whole cycle in just a single day, which is insane.
Insane, yeah. And I think Palantir has a very, like, they're so confident of their product also, is that I think they have like a 1 month window where they say that you only pay us once we deliver the outcomes. I think ऐसा कुछ उनका sales cycle है. And you can only do, coming from a product background, you can only do that if you're 100% sure of your product. That's a very difficult pitch to make, first of all.
So fun fact, like both of us used to work for a very strong product, but I guess the business side of things did not work out.
Yeah, honestly, मैं जब invested था, and I would absolutely not recommend this, but मैं जब invested था, I almost knew nothing about Palantir then. I invested because other people were talking about it. Right, and hence I sold. And that's a bigger thing here, right? Like मैं और आप जैसे जिन stocks के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, we are not really recommending it to people. You know, we are presenting the thesis that we have, and then people can take a call कि, you know, आपको क्या इसका logic सही लगा, please go and do the study, right? And call us out if we have missed something. You know, हो सकता है कोई बहुत बड़ा aspect हो जो हमने miss कर दिया हो and stuff like that, right? But the point here is that if you have bought a stock, और अगर आपको खुद नहीं पता है कि आपने क्यों खरीदा है उसको, राइट, एंड हो सकता है कोई नेगेटिव न्यूज आ जाए, हो सकता है कोई पॉजिटिव न्यूज आ जाए, हाउ डू यू डिसाइड व्हेन टू सेल? सो पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड द बिगर क्वेश्चन इज नॉट व्हेन टू बाय, द बिगर क्वेश्चन इज व्हेन टू सेल. एंड इफ यू कांट आंसर दैट, इट मीन्स कि आपने उसको सही स्टडी करके नहीं खरीदा है. बिकॉज जनरली द क्वेश्चन इज, यार ये 100% हो गया, शुड आई सेल? वेल, दैट्स नॉट द क्वेश्चन कि इसने कितना परसेंट कर लिया. द क्वेश्चन इज कि आपने इन्वेस्ट क्यों किया था. आपने कुछ बिजनेस मोट देखकर इन्वेस्ट किया होगा, आपने कुछ बिजनेस फंडामेंटल्स देखकर इन्वेस्ट किए होंगे, राइट? हैज दैट चेंज्ड? हैज द मार्केट चेंज्ड? इज देयर अ न्यू कॉम्पिटिटर? इफ दीज थिंग्स आर नॉट देयर, देन जस्ट कीप इन्वेस्टिंग इन द सेम कंपनी, लेट योर विनर्स रन. एंड इफ नॉट, देन ऑल ऑफ दीज क्वेश्चंस अराइज कि यार इतना परसेंट हो गया है, ये कंपनी इतनी गिर गई है, इसको क्या सेल कर दूं? वेल, दैट्स द रॉन्ग वे टू थिंक अबाउट इट.
Should, like, if you are investing based on fundamental analysis, then you should just, you know, keep on holding to it, to the stocks, unless कुछ ऐसा fundamental major change आ जाए या कुछ policy में change आ जाए.
Or unless you are a trader, like outright, if you are saying that, yeah, I am a trader, I'm here to make my 25%, I've made my 25%, I'll now sell. Awesome. I'm not a trader. I'm sure you are not a trader. No. So, I mean, we'll not be able to comment on that, but that's a different outlook altogether.
True.
But yeah.
So,
yes, we are.
Yeah. So, Palantir has some deep government connections, and then, you know, the PayPal mafia, Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, co-founder of Palantir itself. So, apart from these, they work with a lot of government agencies, and recently, I think in one of the wars, in the Ukraine war also, Palantir had something to do with that. They had provided some intelligence to Ukraine.
Yeah, and I think with the Israel-Palestine war also. Yeah, I think they had sold their product to Israel as well.
Okay, yeah, must be.
Yeah. So, I mean, not that the company is taking sides, honestly, but the point here is that we just want to talk about who they're selling their products to. Yeah,
and they're very openly telling this. They are pro-American. They are a pro-American company, so they will always side with America. Whichever side America chooses, they will stay that side. So
stay that side.
Yeah, and as we were discussing, right, they have been consistently demolishing like the prices that all these financial analysts have been giving them.
Tell me about it.
It is insane. Like the last.
I mean, हम लोग जब invested थे at $7, अगर किसी ने हमें बोला होता that what is it currently at? I think around 183, right?
Around 180.
अगर मुझे किसी ने बोला होता यार ये 183 पे जाएगा, I would have laughed.
Exactly.
I would have but I was never able to catch this run, honestly. And अब मुझे अभी भी लग रहा हो सकता है वो यहाँ से $1,000 पे चला जाए, but अभी ऑलरेडी अब तो और ज्यादा महंगा हो गया है ये. तो but the company is great. And one thing I've realized in investing is that the company is very different from the stock, right? A great company can, for different reasons, have a very bad stock performance, and a very bad company can have a very great stock performance in the short term. But in the longer term, good companies generally tend to give you a way better return.
And like prime example, last time we saw the chart of Meta, right?
Absolutely. Great example.
So yeah, I'll just share a few statistics. Yeah, so this is Palantir's figures, and what is happening here is, if you notice, the gross profit has been increasing since the last few years. The total revenue obviously has been increasing. That's how the gross profit has been increasing. And if you notice, both are more than 30% CAGR, which is insane. That is probably the reason, why it is sitting at more than 500 PE ratio.
That is true, yeah. There are very few companies actually जो consistently 30% से ज़्यादा grow कर रही हैं. Profits. Not only revenue, but profits as well.
Revenue and profits, yeah. And their operating margin has been improving, so their gross profit will keep on increasing as well. So if you notice, this is the yellow chart. I'll just hide these. So their operating margin has been increasing as well. So they were unprofitable around 3 to 4 years ago, and then since they became profitable, their operating margin is at 16.6% now. So yeah, I think it's a great company. I haven't been able to make the most of this, but yeah, I do plan on buying at certain technical levels. So yeah, I'll do one thing. I'll then quickly move on to the next stock pick, because it's been quite some long. So yeah, next one is it's called BMNR. It is called Bitmine Immersion Technologies Inc. So what does this company do? They used to basically provide industrial scale cryptocurrency mining, and they used to sell mining equipment as well. And they also used to host operations for other Bitcoin miners. What they did recently, they pivoted to becoming the largest holders of Ethereum, the biggest institutional holders basically.
Right.
So the last time we recorded our podcast, from that point to 1 week later today, the stock has gone up by 50%. So what happened at our end is that we basically had to take some time to edit, since it was the first episode. So yeah, you might have not been able to see that name on that sheet I had shared, and be able to research that and buy that if you're interested. So
right.
And the amount of Ethereum that they hold is huge. They hold like more than 1 million Ethereum tokens now, and which is worth more than $5 billion. So
I think they're the second or the third largest.
They're the largest Ethereum holders already. And
largest. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, they plan to keep it that way. So just like around a month back, they had just 300,000 Ethereums. Now they have 1.15 million Ethereums. And I came to know about this stock because there's this hedge fund manager which I follow, and I think Sumeet also follows him from time to time. His name is Tom Lee. So he's...
For people who don't know who Tom Lee is, you can think of him as the big bull of the US stock market.
Yeah, so he is the chairman of the board at this company Bitmine, and he runs a hedge fund as well. So what we'll do is, let's do this. Let's also learn, while looking at this stock, how do we use AI to analyze stocks?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think that's a great pivot.
Yeah,
and I wanted to learn that too. So just excited to do it on a stock that we are just talking about.
Yeah. So
And just wanted to call out in the meantime, while you share your screen, Rohit, is that I think these stocks, you have to, at least how I see them is that because they own so much Ethereum on their books, while they are very correlated with the Ethereum price, right? So for example, if as an investor, your overall, and crypto is generally cyclical in nature, right? We've all seen that. If you think there is a bull run that's going to come for crypto, then these companies can turn out to be a real good investment. If not, then they will fall as quickly as Ethereum or maybe even faster.
Faster, for sure.
So, right. So you have to be very, how do you say?
You have to be on your toes.
Yeah, very, very careful. Keep checking the stock. You know, you have to be, as Rohit said, you know, on your toes while investing in these companies, but they can definitely give you outsized returns. And personally, I have tried to, you know, invest in these kind of things back in the day, but generally I feel that I am a bad investor, you know, when it comes to these, you know, either, I'm not the person who can, you know, keep tracking the price, har din, ya kuch to hota hai aisa, right? Generally. So generally I have moved my thought process to companies that I can invest and at least not think about them for the next 5-6 months.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, so I kind of like seeing charts and, you know, sometimes analyzing them a bit. So yeah, reiterating, this company, or in companies like this, all the public crypto vehicle companies which are holding crypto as an asset, right? You have to be very diligent in checking the prices, the charts, any news that comes out. You have to be doing that on like once every 2 days at least, if not ideally every day. So I do that, and yeah, that is one reason why I was able to kind of get 50% returns in the past 1 week on this stock.
Yeah.
So
while our mutual funds are giving us 10% a year.
Yeah, especially the Indian ones right now. Like I think the last or 2025 hasn't been really good for Indian stocks.
Hasn't been great. Yeah, hasn't been great. I hope the Indian market bounces soon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I'll share my screen.
Yes, let's do Warren AI.
Yeah,
is it Warren?
Yeah, Warren AI will go to later. First, I'll share a few other things. So, in ChatGPT, we have some custom GPTs available. So you can, you know, try those out. So let's say this one is called Value Investor Stock Analysis. Let's say I'll give this an instruction. A very simple instruction. Since in this custom GPT, there already would be, you know, a lot of instructions that have been given to this custom GPT. So I don't need to make this very detailed. So this is Bitmine, and yeah, this was what I was talking about. I think we recorded it on 7th, if I'm not wrong, the last episode.
Yeah, somewhere around that, yes.
Yeah, so I think from around $41, it reached around $62 on Tuesday. And yeah. So see, we just gave a very simple prompt with a custom GPT, and we get the price charts, we get an overview of the company, what it does. Yeah, I think there is an issue here that they are still talking about the, you know, their main business, which used to be like previously. They do that business even now, but their main selling point has changed to holding Ethereum. So
holding Ethereum.
Yeah, I think the this data is not updated with ChatGPT. So yeah, you can see that, okay, key metrics, financial health, how the stock has performed, how is the valuation, profitability ratios. So yeah, it's they're not a profitable company, clearly, and their main selling point right now is holding Ethereum. So my guess is that at least by the end of this year, they would be immensely profitable based on the holding of Ethereum, and I do not plan to hold this beyond this year. and that is like the best case. I might even sell it in like a month or a couple of months. So
Right.
that's the thing. Like, this is one very easy way, probably the easiest way to do that. Another one.
Is there any
Yeah.
technical levels that you're watching on BMNR?
I'm trying to, like, I believe, like, I had read some rumors that their board and the people close to the company, they are like, I read this on Twitter, and some 3-4 people were saying a similar thing, that below $40 they would not let the stock price go. So my price point was around $40. So yeah, if it goes below 40, yeah, it'll be quite risky, I guess. It could become like a house of cards if one falls.
Right.
It goes below 40, might be a bloodbath. So yeah, have to keep a very close eye on stocks like these. But yeah, they have the potential to give you this kind of returns. So since Ethereum reached all-time highs or close to all-time highs in the past week, this stock did like 50% up, while Ethereum might have done like 10 or 20, 30%.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, so
somewhere in there.
this is like a leveraged version of Ethereum.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets a horrible value investing score.
Yeah.
Also because this report does not include holding of Ethereum.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is how we can research stocks easily.
But also, I mean, the major point here is not about BMNR, is about using custom GPTs to evaluate stocks.
Correct.
That you might be looking at, right? There are a lot of different companies listed in US.
Yeah.
So you can just quickly run it by using this custom GPT called Value Investor, I guess.
Yeah. And there are many more, so you can try different ones as well.
Yeah.
And
It'll at least give you a very, a lot of people still, honestly, Rohit, अभी भी लोग बहुत ज़्यादा intuition पे invest करते हैं, right? And very few people look at the moat of the company. Do they have a pricing power? Can they play around with their profits? Can they increase it? Can they increase revenue over time and stuff like that? People don't see that and invest in stocks.
That's true.
So I think that's one of the major things that these things of I think these analysis would kind of at least avoid. At least आपको बहुत clear picture तो मिल जाएगा.
True. And you end up saving a lot of time. Like,
that is true, yeah.
Saves an insane amount of time.
I remember Chat GPT के पहले क्या, I think even in 2023, to be honest, when Chat GPT was not as good, if you had to do research on stocks, it used to take a lot of time. You have to go on different websites, check different metrics, read different reports. Today, these LLM models are amazing. So, yeah. So
I'll share another easy one. So this is called Warren AI. This is by investing.com. So I have a trial account, and yeah, you get like 10 free messages. So you can, just give it a simple prompt like do a deep analysis on Palantir. I wanted to make it a little more specific, so I have given a little more instructions like take into account all the important factors, some of which could be quality of leadership, financial analysis, government policies, competitive mode, institutional shareholding, etc. Then give it a score out of 100 based on the best factors, and I'm looking for a maximum growth in 3 years. So using a similar prompt, I had put some scores in this sheet which I had shared last time. So when you see these scores, these have come from Warren AI with similar kind of this thing, with a similar kind of prompt.
And generally, have you seen this working really well? Let's say, for example, a higher score in Warren AI. Does this generally, or obviously it will not be 100% right all the time, but is it generally in the right direction? Have you generally seen it, making you invest in or avoiding you the pitfalls?
Yeah, for sure. So I have noticed that I'll tell you the order in which I trust these AI platforms from the analysis I've seen and the companies I've known about, and I've done the analysis myself. So according to me, Warren AI has given me the best feedback on whatever stocks I've asked about it.
Right.
Then I would say like Chat GPT has, you know, outdated information a lot of times. I have
Right.
found Gemini to be better, and then I would say Perplexity was like the worst one.
Oh, worst.
Yeah.
Perplexity Pro as well.
Yeah, Pro.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Gotta check out Warren
yeah.
AI.
I'm guessing they would probably be, you know, focusing more on search and not as much on analysis. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
And
yeah,
I'm
by the
sure
way, yeah, like
Investing Pro has a lot of their data as well.
true. They do have. So, investing.com has a lot of data already with them, so that is what probably makes them, you know, the best in
Yeah.
doing these kind of analysis. And by the way, as a disclaimer, Perplexity I was using with their own engine, not with, you know, Claude or Gemini or something. So I was using it with their own engine. And yeah, by the way, Claude is above average, I would say, on similar level to Gemini. But yeah, Warren I found it to be the best.
To be the best. Awesome. I
So,
think this will help a lot of people who listen to this.
yeah, so I would suggest you actually go and, you know, try it out since they have like 10 free messages for a trial account.
Right.
I would say use them judiciously. Like, let's say if you want to, if you have a shortlist of 15 companies, give them all at once. Put them all in a single message and, you know, use it. So I already have like used 5 out of 10.
Yeah, because the credit is per message.
Yeah.
It's not per stock.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
And then if you want to go a little bit more advanced, then I would suggest you can go to, let's say, Gemini and create like a custom GPT. So here what I've done is I've created a custom, it's called Gem for Gemini. So I'm saying like you're the best stock investor in the world, even better than Warren Buffett. Your primarily driver investment principles from Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Rakesh Junjunwala, these kind of people. You also research to ensure that the leaders running the companies are the best at their work, and these kind of things. I can share this prompt, you know.
Yeah, we can put up in the description.
Yeah. So using this, what I had done is, okay, I think I lost that. So yeah, using this, I had asked it to like give me a list of the top 30 small and mid cap stocks. And then what I did is I took that long list and I made it shorter. So I was trying out ChatGPT as well. So I again did this with ChatGPT as well and also with Warren AI. So this is what I told ChatGPT, that like I have an initial shortlist of US listed companies that I want to invest in, and I want to further shorten it based on fundamental analysis. I told it you're the best investor in the world based on a time horizon of 2 to 3 years. And
AI LLMs love to hear that you're best at this.
yeah. And and this is something I actually wanted to stress upon, that since Donald Trump is the president of the United States right now, and he is quite unpredictable, but still there are some things that he would be focusing more in this term, like let's say energy, like fossil fuel based energy and things like crypto adoption. So I just told it to, you know, give importance to that also as a factor.
Yeah.
And then asked it to again create a scorecard. And yeah, that's what I did. And then also I wanted to check if some of these companies have cryptocurrency holdings. So I gave like a list of websites where ChatGPT would be able to check how much holding a particular company has. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, this was the initial list, and then yeah.
Awesome. No, this is gold, Bhaiya. Thanks for telling me and everybody who's listening to this. I think at least with the tools that are available today, I think more and more people should learn to use AI. Again, you can research about different kinds of companies, whatever you are fundamentally interested in, but do leverage AI. I would say, because obviously it will save time and it will maybe save you a lot of confirmation bias, right? Like फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैंने पहले से ही सोच लिया है कि मुझे एप्पल में इन्वेस्ट करना है, आई tend to see all the good stuff about it, right? So, these kind of tools allow you to see the other perspective as well. I think one other prompt that I was thinking while you were saying is that make a very strong argument, from make a very strong bear case, basically.
Yeah, true.
Right, for this. And then you take a call whether it is, a great thing that you might not have thought of.
True.
And I think that'll be great. But yeah, awesome.
So I think let's wrap up with what happened during the week. Good
Yes.
news,
I think we are already beyond our mark. I'll just quickly mention some of the news stuff that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Yes. So one of the most important things that has happened is CPI and the PPI report that has come. For people who don't know, CPI is your consumer price index and PPI is your producers price index. This helps track inflation in US. Right, this is a government report that comes out, and generally CPI has been trending down for last 3, 4, 5 months, maybe more than that as well, and that's usually good for the markets, right? Because this is the data that the US Fed is tracking to decide whether to cut rates or to increase interest rates, right? Which is at 4.55 right now. So CPI has to be considerably low and has to be consistently low for Fed to decide that it wants to cut interest rate. So it's moving in the right direction, but it has to stay there. The one, I would say, not a bad thing, but a thing that people were not expecting has happened is that PPI readings came in really high, I think yesterday or day before. And that has led to a fall in the stock market yesterday. So I think, but this could be a reading that might not translate into CPI, to be honest. So something to watch out for, because generally if this trends back up, because basically everybody's just betting on the fact that inflation ab chala gaya, right? Ab it's not coming back. If it does turn back, then that's going to be a point of concern. So something to watch out for. That's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, yes, so there is this stock called UNH, United Health, and they are one of the biggest insurance companies in US. They are also in the healthcare management ecosystem. So they don't only provide insurance, but they also serve people through other businesses. And there were some problems with the company. There was again an investigation going on with the company and stuff like that, which had led to the stock dropping, I think, about 50-60% in a very short period of time. And it has recently come out that Warren Buffett has bought UNH. Actually, I think yesterday it came out that Warren Buffett has bought UNH. So doesn't mean if Warren Buffett buys something, you have to buy, but the market notices when he buys something, right? So something to look at. Maybe, we'll explore it in our next podcast. We might not, if we don't find it interesting.
It's actually gone up 11% in pre-market.
11% already in aftermarket. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, but I'm assuming, it'll go back up with this news, and then it'll just come back to where it is right now.
Yeah, very soon.
But let's see. I mean, let's see what happens. But yeah, those are 2 news pieces from my side.
Yeah, so I'll quickly cover some more. So there's this famous crypto publication called CoinDesk, and the same company also has a cryptocurrency exchange called Bullish, which had its IPO at $37, and it opened up at $70, which is like more than double. And then it went up till like $118 per share. So that was one crazy news. It says a lot
about. This is very similar to Figma, by the way. I think Figma started at 33 and went up till 110.
It's crazy.
I think it's trading back at around 70 right now.
Okay.
But saw the bullish news yesterday. Crazy. Really bullish.
Nice. Then another one was even Ray Dalio's fund, which is Bridgewater. their report also came out, and Ray Dalio, since a long time, he was betting big on China stocks, and his whole overview or worldview was that China will become the next superpower and things like that. And I was very surprised. He literally dropped all his major China holdings. Like he fully exited, not just reduced, he fully exited companies like Alibaba, Baidu, JD.com. And he raised his holdings in US tech stocks like Nvidia, Microsoft, Google. So that says a lot when someone like this guy is investing into US stocks. And last time we covered Google, right? So that kind of
we saw a podcast. Yeah, I think Sumeet and Rohit are right.
Yeah, I think one of those 500 views are from him.
Yeah.
Nice. So, एक और चीज.
Awesome, I didn't know that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Then one more thing. Perplexity gives a 34 billion offer to buy Chrome.
Oh, yeah, bullshit offer.
More than the company's valuation.
Yeah, total bullshit. I think it's a publicity stunt.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, first of all, I think Google will never sell Chrome unless they are forced to. I think the only reason, from what I read in the reports, was that the only reason for this offer is to be because there's a case going on against Google. And if the judge decides, and people were saying that it will help the judge to decide that, they can sell such a large part of their business if there's an offer out there. Right? But I don't think that the judge is gonna rule against Google, first, and second, I don't think Chrome is worth $34 billion. Third is, I don't think Perplexity can buy Chrome. So yeah, but Perplexity is a good product, and I think Comet browser is a great browser. But yeah,
I think we'll end this with one hopium. So. All the major tech giants have, given their earnings reports, but the biggest one hasn't done that yet, which is Nvidia.
Daddy. The daddy hasn't come home.
Yeah. So yeah, they will. The last time they gave their earnings report, the S&P went up by let's see how much. Yeah.
I still remember Nvidia's earnings.
Yeah.
The first earning, where they went up 25%, where they first time reported that, people realize that AI is real, and everybody's just going after this GPU market.
That's true.
And I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rohit, I think uske pehle tak na, we were just kind of coming out of the bear market, and this earnings came and everybody's like, bro, where's this revenue coming from?
True.
And then I think that just shifted gears, and everybody thought that, wait, there's something in this. And the company just, went to 1 trillion, and then now it's $4 trillion. And
it's insane. The company of such a size has gone like 4x, 5x in the last couple of years, I guess. And the last earning calls did this to S&P, like 10%. I personally believe that this was one of the major reasons why, the S&P went up so much. It's primarily, obviously, been driven by tech stocks, but it says a lot about Nvidia as a company, driving the whole market.
The top 7 companies now in S&P account for more than 25% of the entire S&P.
It's crazy.
So if you're investing in S&P, know that 1/4 of your money is going in just 7 companies.
Yeah.
Out of the 500 companies. So, yeah.
Crazy. That was, I think, a very insightful session.
So. Yes, I think that was really good. I think I would actually love for people to tell us if they like our stock analysis, don't like the stock analysis. If you have something to add. Something that we might have missed. So the idea is to form a community for Indian investors who are investing in US market. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. And yes, we'll try and reply to as many of them as possible.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. So see you next week, dear.
Yeah, see you. Bye. Thank
awesome.
you. Bye.
Bye.